That was fun. What's going on, everybody? Got our three usual suspects here tonight. Janice is here. Hello, Janice. How are you? Ben is in the house. Ben, it's always great to have you. And Aaron of Albus Band, buddy. Always a pleasure. It's great to have my usual suspects starting out with me tonight. You guys been good? Tune that bad boy up. Thank you so much, everybody, for sharing and spreading the word. I really, really appreciate it. As we keep going on in these live shows, obviously, I want to, keep building this community so that you guys can ask me questions if there's burning things that you need to know, advice or anything like that. I'm here for you guys. We can hang out for a little bit. This gives us some time to just hang out and be friends, Ben, let's go ahead and push it a little bit. You tell me. I'm going to put the preamp up to about 5. I'm going to go ahead and make it a more high gain sound. Ben, I'll wait for you to let me know how that turned out. Just compressing a touch at times. Okay. Then let's just go with a little bump to 2. Better not play anybody else's riffs. I don't want to get dinged for a copyright. That was fun. We got more people in the house. We got Sean Zimmerman. Sean, how are you, my friend? It's good to have another fellow Sean in the house. Brian Landreth has joined in. Terry's GG and G. It's great to have some of you usual suspects here tonight. This is really awesome. My internet is jacked. Yep, that's the Ramos. Aaron's becoming a super fan. He knows my guitars now. That's kind of funny. I like that. Ben, you're going to be my designated audio guy. As a matter of fact, you should be the guy to tell me when things are going well. Hey, everybody. You'll probably recognize a last name in the live chat right now. He's got the same last name as me. This is because he's my forebear. My dad is in the house, people. Thanks for joining the chat, Dad. Chad Boston, welcome to you. Thank you so much for joining in. You guys are going on the chat pretty quickly here. I want to make sure that I catch everybody, make sure that I've seen what everything is going on down here. Oh yes, Sean asked about the guitar. Aaron answered, it's my Ramos, the Black Rider. It's the it's kind of a custom job built in Spain. It's just absolutely beautiful. That's a laser engraved electronics cavity, which is really fun, really nice kind of stuff. We got Seymour Duncan pickups, Nazgul, and Sentient, hence Black Rider, Nazgul, Lord of the Rings. Go to locking tuners through the body, push-pull tone pots, split coils for bridge and neck, so I can, mix and match however I see fit. It's a lot of fun. If I go to something, let's go ahead, split the bridge, and then I'll go ahead and do something like, I can get like a really it's just a little bit more spanky of an in-between sound. The neck pickup split. Let's see. And that bridge pickup just is a lot of fun as well. This is a great guitar. I love it a lot. It's been working out really well for me and all the stuff that I do. Oh boy, this is funny. Aaron's in a total gear nerd, I guess. Where'd you go, man? Oh man, it's all kind of dropping out on me. Where we go? Where are we? There we go. Aaron's in full on nerd for gear, so you said it once and I went on lockdown. There you go. Ah, everybody is showing my dad some love. Yay. Thanks, guys. All right. Let's see. Janice says, the other day I went from my driveway to McDonald's and back to my driveway, all watching and listening to your 2256. Awesome. I'm glad I provided some drive time entertainment, That's kind of what I've always done. Albus has got Lord of the Rings tattoos, Harry Potter, and Game of Thrones, and Zelda. I'm a 36-year-old nerd. Dude, I'm a 31-year-old nerd. Speaking of Game of Thrones, I went to a watch party for the season premiere on Sunday at a friend's house, and they had this little guy right here. I had no idea that they were doing like scotches for each of the houses, but my friend had a bottle of the House Stark one, and it was so good that immediately after leaving the party, I went right across the street to the grocery store they bought it at, and I picked up a bottle because, quite frankly, I've not had a good scotch in a long time, and this one was probably the best one I've had, so pardon me. Man, that is good. They say it's made in a distillery that's one of the highest elevations in one of the coldest parts of Scotland. So I don't know what it does, but it's smooth as heck. It's got all that great stuff about Scotch. It's single malt. I don't know how long it's been aged, but I don't really care. It's just good. And it's just like a little bit, it's got that smokiness that you like, peatiness of Scotch, and snorting whiskey and drinking cocaine, I guess. But I'm quite excited about, the show being at its end. I'm sure Aaron can attest to this. Uh, I've when I got into the series was when A Dance of Dragons came out, and I started reading the books. I worked at a Borders at the time. That's how long ago that was. We still had Borders here in the United States and maybe other parts of the world. And man, everybody was so hot on the series, and everybody was just going all kinds of crazy over it. And I wanted to read the books. They looked so intriguing. I picked them all up. I read them. So I'm glad we're going to be seeing the resolution of the story somewhat today, in 5 weeks, maybe 7. But I'm kind of glad it's done. I just wish George R. Martin would stop writing history books and just write the other books. By the way, Ben, this is not the first time I've been drinking on the air. I've had beer on the air before. And I think I deserve it, by the way, because I've been sitting in front of this computer for the last 6 days editing videos. And just because I like you guys, there's going to be a lot of them. I'm sure some of you have seen that we're going to be doing some of the Matthews Effects stuff that is launching tomorrow, one of which is on the board right now in the form of the Architect V3. Just a lot of fun stuff. And that's coming basically in 3 hours and 45 minutes. So for those of you in a time zone where you're not going to be watching at the crack of dawn, you can watch that at midnight, which is usually when everything goes up. And you might even be able to see some of those earlier if you go over to my Patreon, sign up there. I'll be releasing those videos a day or two early so that you can watch them. But since the whole product launch was reserved for tomorrow, the 19th, Rick and I talked about it, and we just decided to make sure the content comes up on the day of launch. So I'm really excited about that. If you don't know about the Architect, it's basically their Klon style overdrive. It's got a 3-band EQ on it, which makes it infinitely more versatile than, most other straight up Klon clones that are out there on the market. Uh, and I just love the fact that this one has an additional one knob boost circuit attached onto it. So, and there's different clipping options for the overdrive and different boost options for that boost. And you can use them independently and you can stack them together. So it's just a really cool brand new pedal that they're putting out as part of their launch under Boutique Amps distribution. So I'm really looking forward to putting that out there. Looking forward to you guys seeing that because it's a really fun pedal. And to be honest with you, the entire lineup is really well done, really well thought out. You guys probably have seen some of their. If you don't follow them on any sort of social media, go check them out. They've been posting pictures of their new packaging, which they put a lot of work into, and it looks great. It's absolutely fantastic. And in addition to that, addressing something that Aaron has just said, the slow reverb from Walrus Audio that came out on Monday. If you haven't and you are watching this on replay, because I won't be able to do this real time, there's going to be a link in the top right corner, which is either here or there, probably here if I had to guess. So you can go watch that. And this reverb, it's just so much fun. It's so deep and immersive. And I mean, where else can you get a reverb sound that's going to have like a little tinge of a low octave underneath? And it's going to decay out and be all washy like that. Like, where are you really going to do that? They've kind of put it all in there and into one package, and it's pretty remarkable if I do say so myself. Great pedal if you like to do some of the shoegazy stuff, um, which is pretty fantastic. I think if you want to do anything, just like great pad kind of stuff. If I turn up the decay a little bit, turn up the filter too. If I use the expression pedal on the floor. So something like what I did at the top there. Add on some echo. Swirl and twirl and all just kinds of cool stuff. And what you're hearing right now is the new neighbor Neuron doing all the sort of pushed clean kind of thing right now. The TC flashback too with my Chaos Crescendo tone print, running that into a room reverb from the Ghost Ridge by Native Audio, and then into slow, something like that. I don't know. We don't have umlauts in the English language, or do we? And then just make some, tremolo stuff with, your expression pedal. just a lot of fun stacking pedals, and you know, it's all kinds of great stuff. I should also just mention that the expression pedal is hooked up to the Vertex Boost, so I'm just using that to control the volume. Let's go back to the chat, see where you guys are at. I got the phone over my pickup running through a love pedal monkey fist fuzz and delay. You sound awesome. Nice. Nice. Love that stuff. So, Aaron, I'm gonna reveal the game layout for the SLA demo, or really the signal chain. I kind of kept it a secret, just because there were some things in that particular demo that I hadn't yet released, and the Whaler from Matthews was involved in that. The Neuron was pulling the majority of the gain stage weight, though. So any cleans or dirty sounds that I had in that video was coming from that pedal and running into the pedal baby. So pretty remarkable. You asked last week about my thoughts on the pedal baby now that I've had it for a while. And, you know, that entire video. And I'm pretty sure the Monument pedal. Actually, yeah, both Walrus pedals that I've done recently, the Monument V2 and the SLA, both used the pedal baby and some other pedal as a preamp. In the Monument, it was the Clover from JHS, and in the SLA, it was the Neuron from New Neighbor, which is, wow, that's really weird to think. Huh. I just made that connection now, and that's kind of cool because both those were some of my favorites to do in this last go around, just because they were really consistent. There wasn't a whole lot of hiccups in production, and as far as tones went, everything was very satisfying and very easy to conjure up. So I was very, very happy with the results of that. Let's see what else we got going on here. It's good to see so many of you here tonight. And Dementoid and Evan Ward have come and joined the party. What's going on, guys? How you doing? Yep, I would say the Neuron and the Pedal Baby are legit. You know, I had somebody comment on the Neuron video recently that they felt like maybe the Neuron was a little too much cash. Because it is a $300 pedal. But I'm just going to switch back on the Neuron. You know, it's responding to this guitar like you would want an amp to respond to this guitar. This guitar still sounds like a Telecaster. It cleans up. You know, and if I take it to the higher gain territory, it's it's an insanely usable preamp, and it's a great sounding one that I've played every guitar I own currently through this pedal. And I just find myself always coming to something that I like with it. You know, it's a piece of equipment that, even though the price is fairly high, $300 is certainly nothing to sneeze at here. You're getting so much out of it, so much that I think personally is better than a lot of stuff that's out there. Um, on the pedal itself, you can have 6 stored presets, and then once hooked up to MIDI, you can have over 20. So if you have the ability to do something like that, $300 in the grand scheme of things, I've already found 4 very highly usable sounds that I would want to use with the Neuron hooked up to, say, my G2, and being able to cycle through those presets. So there's nothing really to uh, steer me away from using it. Granted, if I was paying money to buy the pedal, the price tag might be a bit of a it might be a bit of a problem, because I just don't have that kind of money to spend on pedals. Otherwise, I'd be, buying pedals like crazy and annoying the hell out of my wife and myself, kind of. So, consider consider it, don't consider it. I think it's worth it, because you'll find a lot of useful stuff with it. Thanks to Aaron from Alba's band for being the cheerleader. Sales pitch finished. But to Aaron's point about you know, sharing this and helping build the community, in all honesty, guys, that would be the best, the greatest possible thing, and the greatest endorsement that you can give me is by sharing the videos to either what we're doing here live tonight. You can see my little headphone cable back there on my chair. Sharing what we're doing here tonight with your friends, or sharing demos in groups. Obviously, I do some promotion on my own, but you guys are really the best endorsement that I can get for these videos. And you guys have really come out of the woodwork for me lately, and given me some really good views and really great numbers on social media all throughout. I appreciate the interactions, and it really does it really does mean a whole lot. Um, I do know that slowly but surely we're reaching the 5,000 subscriber mark. And that's something that I would like to reach, hopefully by the end of May or the beginning of summer. Um, I think that would be a fun goal to be able to accomplish. We're at 4795 right now. Um, so if we could get to 5,000 before summertime, I think that would be really fun, that we could, do something to celebrate, have a big old live stream hangout where we just, talk, answer questions, maybe even do some live giveaways of, I got stuff around here that I need to get rid of and that you guys probably would like to have. Um, so in order to keep that going, I mean, it's just share every video you can, share uh stuff like this that we're doing here tonight. Uh-oh, my dad says we might be busy May 25th. I know what day that is. So just wherever you see the share icon when you're watching these videos, throw them up on Facebook, the groups, Instagram, all that stuff. I love seeing you guys interact. And as we start to build this community more, the Patreon thing is also a good way to help keep that thing going. Hey, we got a new viewer in the house. We got Terry Himes. Terry, welcome to the show, my friend. Hope you are having an awesome day. And thank you all so much for joining in. Oh boy, this is great. This is really awesome. I love it when new people join in. So if you're watching and you haven't let anybody know that you've joined in the party, please do. We want to know who you are and acknowledge you. So yeah, just let's keep building this thing. This is the kind of community thing that I like doing. As we work into the summer, there's going to be some other new video ideas coming out and releases that will be very much involved in us communicating on a regular basis. That, a weekly thing that we're constantly going to be talking about what it means to be a guitar player and what it's going to entail to do certain things within music. And it's all going to be based on presenting an idea and having a conversation around it. So, and even right now, this is for you guys as much as it is for me. If you have questions, burning questions on anything, within reason, I'll answer them. Let's hear some more of this walrus pedal. I'm gonna go ahead and switch to a different reverb mode. So this is the dark mode that has low octave mixed in it. That one is mine. I'm keeping that one. You know, Brian brings up a great point about, you know, helping this channel grow and helping this community grow. Buy the stuff that I demo. If it's something that you're interested in, and if you see the video that I do, buying it and telling the company that my demo helped steer your purchasing is a great endorsement for me and what I do. I will share this bit of information with you guys that this past month is the most successful month that I've had in terms of demos that actually pay my bills and buy my groceries. Um, so paying work is coming in because a lot of what you guys have been helping me do, and because the video thing and guitar really is what I do as a job, the videos are the easiest thing that I can do to help generate income. And because you guys give me your stamp of approval and show these companies that what I'm doing uh, gives some sort of value to you guys and helps inform your gear purchases is a big time thing. I don't think enough people really let the companies know that their efforts to partner with players like myself to show off stuff like this in a way that makes sense uh, and helps you guys understand the broad spectrum of what a product can do is working. And you don't need to worry about me being dishonest with you. Actually, this got brought up a couple weeks ago, and afterward, I was, you know, chatting with the wife after the live stream, and we coined the term Shaunesty. Hashtag Shaunesty. Sean Honesty. Shaunesty. Because that's what I do. Like the world is too big and life is too long for there to be bullshit. Without mincing words. Like, here's some honesty for you. I am a little upset with myself about my guitar playing lately. So, in working on these demos and in working in my own life as a musician, I've been trying to do some things outside of what it is that I normally do. coming up with little ideas that force me to play as if I'm playing over changes. So using chord voicings that really Al John Go is in the house, everybody. The man, the myth, the Epiphone legend. But basically coming up with stuff that forces me to play as if I'm playing over chord changes. So, for the sake of some example, if I have something like B major 7, very jazzy, what can you do over that? Well, you have a B flat major scale. Then you have a major 7 arpeggio. But you can do that in other places. Or even something like this. There's all these different ideas. So if you go from B flat major 7 to C minor 7, that's a in key chord move. You know, that's 1, 2. So there's not much that needs to change from that. But what does change is the chord tones. You have your B flat with your 5th, your major 7th, and then your 3rd, your B flat major 7 chord. When you switch to C minor 7, all those notes are still in that root key, but what you're emphasizing is different in your bass movement. So if our chord change has a movement of B flat, C, B flat, G, but then when we get to the G, we have this, which I believe is like a minor 9. So what are we going to do? Well, that's the kind of stuff that I've been practicing. If I go over that B, but at that point, we'd switch to the C. How can I emphasize that chord movement without having some sort of track underneath me? You got to know your chord tones. So but being honest with you guys, that stuff is not stuff that I'm really good at. So it's something that I've wanted to work on, and I'm finding ways to work on it and make it so that maybe along the way I'm coming up with some sort of idea, some sort of musical idea that maybe I can record down and turn into a song. That's, essentially what I'm trying to do. So I'm not like super thrilled with my guitar skills. So if I'm being honest with you guys about my skills as a guitar player, that's the same kind of honesty that I'm applying to these demo videos. Don't worry about me getting paid for them. That just buys groceries and pays the bills. I still have an opinion. And I like to think that it's because of the fact that when I give my opinions, I don't trash companies when something is wrong with a product. Instead, my years have taught me it's better to come at a something that is a negative with constructive criticism, that they trust me enough and pay me enough to let me have my opinion, tell you guys what that opinion is, and then you guys can decide whether or not you want to spend your money on something. And I think that's one of the reasons why, guys like Aljon working for Epiphone and Gibson have taken notice of the things that I do. That's why I work with guys like Rick Matthews and Matthews Effects, JHS Pedals, Chase Bliss Audio, all these companies who make equipment that is worth a pretty penny. But they appreciate the fact that I'm not going to badmouth them if there's something that's wrong. I'm going to instead say, there's this one little thing. It's kind of bothering me. It's just a little thing, but here's what it is. But that bothers me. It might not bother you. Everybody is entitled to their opinion. We're human. We have the free will and the freedom of speech to do that. It's fine. But I'm going to be honest with you guys. And I hope that through that honesty, we can continue to build this community around what we do. And I'm just having a boatload of fun doing it. So thank you all for coming on the journey. Cheers to you all. Might be time for a guitar change, huh? Haven't played this one in a while. Silverburst Les Paul BFG. Tune this guy up. Hello, Amanda. Aljon, did I ever tell you the story of how I acquired the BFG? I don't know if I've gone 100% public with this story, but I found this BFG. You might also like this, Aljon. Put that on the back. That's the Gibson that got away. If only this were the Gibson that... This is the Gibson that almost got away. This is the Gibson that almost got away. For me, at least. So, this guitar... You didn't tell me how you got the guitar, so I'll share the story. So, this guitar had been hanging in True Tone Music in Santa Monica for 3 years. It was around... Let's see. There's no specific production date. I can't really tell 100% by the serial number when this guitar was made. But I want to say around 2007, 8, 9-ish. In that 3-year period, Gibson released 3 limited edition colors of the BFG. They had the silver burst, there was like a gator green, and I think a faded blue denim were the ones. I could be wrong on this one. But the silver burst, obviously the silver burst is the coolest of the ones on there. So it had been hanging there in True Tone Music in Santa Monica, which if you haven't gone, do go. It's a great shop with the price tag on it of $1,100. $1,100 for this, which is basically very similar to the studios that I have. You know, all my Les Pauls are studios. So I am constantly I like to think that I'm sort of a Les Paul studio ambassador, if you will, because they're just phenomenal guitars that are very bare bones. So for anybody like me who can be a little hard on their instruments, they're fantastic. But I always loved the look of Silverburst. I wanted a Silverburst. I wanted a BFG, and I just decided one day I had some extra cash, and I walked into the shop, picked it up off the rack, and said to the sales guy, who I believe still works there, "So how firm is your price on this?" When I picked it up, had some dust on it. The strings felt old. Clearly, nobody was picking up this guitar. Brings me over to the manager. I say the same exact thing. "What's your highest price? What's the, like, how firm is your price on this?" And he says to me, "What do you want? What would you be willing to pay for it?" And I said, uh, "I'll give you $800 for it. It's been," and I told him the whole spiel about it. "I've been coming back here for years. It's sitting in the same spot on the wall, on the rack. The strings are old. It's got dust on it. Clearly nobody wants it, but I want it. I've got $800. He thinks about it for a minute, and he says, "If you give me $850 cash, I'll give it to you." And so I came back the next week with $850 cash, and thus the BFG was mine. And it is such a cool guitar. The neck shape is a little it's the beefiest neck that of all the 3 Les Pauls that I have. The electronics covers are clear plastic. Stock kill switch, 3-way pickup selector. These were reversed. So the pickup selector was down here. The kill switch was where the pickup selector normally is. I decided that, believe it's an 08. That's what I thought that it was. I wasn't 100% sure. But so I had the electronics swapped. I had the kill switch placed down here and the pickup switch put back up where it rightfully belongs. This probably has the best action of all 3 of my Les Pauls. I did something kind of stupid. It was a gold burst. It wasn't the green one. That's right. I did something kind of stupid, which I kind of wish I hadn't. I pulled out the pull piece screws on the humbucker for a little bit because I wanted to experiment with it kind of having a single coil fake thing in the in the bridge. And I don't know, ever since I put the pole pieces back in, it's been a little weak, but I got some pickups that were originally in my black and silver Les Paul that I would be willing to put into this guitar, try it out. My dad is right. I did learn about bargaining from him. He learned bargaining, I'm pretty sure, from my grandfather, who, as my dad likes to tell stories, was a pretty legendary bargainer. If you guys have seen A Christmas Story, And Ralphie says his old man liked to bargain like an Arab trader and he was twice as shrewd. I think that was the level of my grandpa. Dad, you can confirm that for me. I have no idea. I didn't bear witness to this, but that's kind of what I assume is going on. RJ the Mad One, what up, buddy? Good to have you in house. Okay, Aljon is saying check the first and fifth number of the serial on the year for the year on that one. So I got, let's see, first and fifth. Now, are we going by first digit and fifth digit on the serial number? Because the serial number does start with 2 zeros. Aljon. Yes, the body mounted pickup is definitely a magical thing. It's like right up there. So I'm thinking maybe what I might try to do is just adjust the pole pieces individually, in the bobbin to maybe get a little bit more out of it. This neck P90 is just it's got such a great bite to it. Okay, first and fifth digit. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yep. So we got a 0 and then an 8 on the first and fifth digit. So it is definitely an 08. Aljon, how far back does that serial number designation go, like that formula with the first and fifth digit? Because I'd actually like to know when exactly some of my other ones were done. Let's get a little bit of a cleaner sound, less of the verb. And then doing middle with both the pickups. My dad says apparently my grandpa could trade ice cubes to an Eskimo. So there you go. That's kind of the bargaining prowess, I guess, that I've had to learn from. Serial number sequence from 77 to 2003. Well, let's see. If we're going by first and fifth, let's see when this was actually made. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So this one is 2004, which is about when I got it, pretty sure. And then this one you guys actually had started stamping the year right underneath the Made in USA stamp on the headstock. So this one was pretty easy. This one's an 09. I'll tell you what, man, internet trolls love to crap on Gibsons from that time period, and all three of these Les Paul studio style instruments I haven't had a single dang problem with. But I do have the original pickups from the black and silver, so I'd be interested to put it in the bridge here, since I'm fairly certain that those will still have their full strength, since I didn't, accidentally possibly demagnetize this coil. I don't know. Just thinking out loud here. In fact, I think we might even have another Les Paul coming soon. I don't know. Aljon, any idea on the status of that new addition to the clan, so to speak? Awesome. Looking forward to it, man. So RJ is asking about the differences between a studio and a regular Les Paul. So Aljon will be able to speak more to this real specifics of what the differences are. What I'll tell you is more from my practical experience is that when it comes to the Les Pauls, 498T different than the BB in your BFG, black silver black. Oh, well then that should be interesting to put in this one. So the studios, yes, as Terry's GG and G just said, doesn't have any binding. The way you can look at it is studio is kind of in terms of the Gibson USA lines. This is the first step in the journey, so to speak. It tends to have the mahogany body. It has the maple top. The Aljon, quick question. The BB, are you referring to the silver burst or are you referring to this one? The with BB Black Bigsby. That's all I got. That's all I'm thinking on. So the studios are kind of like step one. They're not as ornate. The tops are usually plainer. You'll typically find these with more solid finishes as things have as things have gone on. I've started to see more ornate looking tops. Um, excuse me. So that has started to blur the line a little bit, but you won't. Jay Steen in the house. What up, buddy? Good to have you. So you won't find binding. There'll typically be solid finishes, more transparent stuff. Um, all in all, I consider the studios to be much more of a workhorse guitar. I typically consider these to be more bare bones and stripped down. When you get into the classics and the standards and the traditionals, those are where you start to see some of the more typical appointments of binding. You'll also start to see stuff like nicer flame tops, flame maple tops, higher degrees of that, and more stained finishes, more transparent finishes. So that's kind of the experience that I have with studios. Just think of it like that. The higher in you go from studio to custom, you have varying degrees of pardon me. You have varying degrees of quality and quality. That's not really the word that I want to say, but different levels of like quality. That's the best term I have in terms of the different wood choices. Now with the BFG, this is kind of the interesting animal because these are definitely meant to be guitars that are barely finished, obviously, and that when it comes to this top, what I always find very funny is that you can really see, because of the barely finished nature and the fact that they didn't really, sand the top down, there's quite a little bit of what I would consider to be a really insane top underneath there. Just the different ridges that if this finish weren't on there, this might look pretty rad. Um, so, and it's a pretty thick top too. It's not small, but these these had some different kind of appointments that maybe because they didn't spend so much money on finishing them and making them look nice and pretty, because they're a little bit worn in, uh, they were able to put a few more quality components into these guitars because they weren't 100% amazingly beautiful or something like that. That's all I got. But I love this guitar. It's a great guitar. We got Eric from EVH Gear TV in the house. What's going on, buddy? Thanks for stopping by for a little bit. Let's get a little bit more of this shoegazy stuff going on. Oh, I stepped on my tuner. See, I can gaze at my shoes. It's pretty easy. Aljon, on that Epiphone my dad's talking about, do you guys use for the Epiphone the same first and fifth digit code for the serial numbers on those? Okay, so the epi is different. How do you blah, how do you guys do it? There we go. We got a good date website for dating guitars that Aljon just shared, guitardateproject.org. Epiphone serials start with the year. Other than that, try using this. So there you go. If you're interested, go check that out. Ah, yes, Aaron, you asked that question a while ago, and I completely forgot to touch on it. The expression pedal is a mission expression pedal. Honestly, I don't know why you'd really use anything else, to be honest with you. Yeah. I haven't been drinking water at all this whole time. Oh, I'm getting heated. I can see it in my face. There you go, Aaron. Eric is using a mission. It's just they're built like tanks, and there's not you know that. I love scotch, scotchy, scotch, scotch. Watch it go down, down into my belly. Yeah, I can do that too. But yeah, man, it's hard to argue. It's hard to argue with the mission stuff. It's just really good, really well made. Yeah, Aljon, you missed it. Game of Thrones, House Stark Scotch. I had it at a friend's watch party for the season premiere, and I couldn't say no. It was just too good to not go out and find a bottle. But I did have to do a little bit of trickery with the expression pedal. This just yesterday, actually. I'll show you and kind of walk you through what I ended up doing. So I noticed that the travel of the expression pedal was one, it was getting really stiff to the point where it was like really having to push down on it. And I noticed that in the toe down, it was just ever so slightly up. It wasn't going down all the way. So what I decided to do is I decided to open it up. First, I tried adjusting the foot treadle on the back. There's a little Allen key that you can adjust the tension, and that wasn't that wasn't solving any of my problems. So I opened it up. I sprayed some contact cleaner on the electronics just to make sure that everything was nice and cleaned out. And I took some WD-40 and put it on the lever points, you know, right here on each side of the pedal, on the outside, and then on the inside. Opened it up, spritz some here, spritz some there, put it back down, spritz here, spritz there, and just started working it. Then I put some WD-40 along this guy right here. And then on the control, you can actually see like now it just falls, which is really fine for me because I don't really ever want to have my volume pedal be turned down, you know? I want to be loud. And when I use the Vertex Boost, I'm almost always I really I've had it off this whole time. Um, if I want a little bit of boost, I can get it, but I'm mostly using it for the volume control. And if I'm really using it for the volume control, I want to have all that control as possible. I want to be sort of like riding the faders, if you will. We got somebody from Germany, Rotal Music. Hello, my friend. Thank you so much. It is late where you are, isn't it? Geez, you guys are like 8 hours ahead of us. What are you doing up at this hour? But then again, it's probably early morning for you. Either way, thank you so much for joining. I really appreciate that. So, um, as it comes across, like the mission stuff is really good. Long story short, worked it out, and now I can really have all that control. It might seem a little loose to some people, not really being, and sometimes it'll just, it'll fall down, but it's not a problem for me. If I want a fader ride, basically, I want as smooth of a travel as I can possibly do it. Oh, 6 o'clock in the morning. Okay, well, 6 o'clock in the morning is not so bad. That would be like, waking up time. Well, good morning to you, my friend, and thank you for joining us for this. Mm. It's good stuff. Yeah, so I kind of like having a looser um, travel to the expression pedal so that I can, really be able to control things. Expression pedals are great if they're hooked up to the right thing. There are some things that I would never bother hooking up an expression pedal to. And for me, like, I hate volume pedals. All the ones that I've ever tried, except for one, have really been insane tone suckers. And when it comes to this Vertex Boost, that was the thing that I loved about it. From the get go when I got it, was being able to control the volume with an expression pedal, and there's no tone loss. And if you want to add in a little bit of boost, you can turn it on and have the boosted volume be part of your volume pedals travel. So it gives you a little bit more range than you might think. So there you go. I love it. I think it's great. So Mission Expression pedals, man. I know I need to do a video for this thing, which should be coming out in the next few weeks or something like that. But just with everything else that has been going on in terms of, doing these videos, it's been a bit difficult to hammer down some footage that really will go with showcasing like how good these expression pedals are. So we're nearing the just about that time. It's 9:22 here. I'd like to go spend some time on the couch with the wife and just relax for the rest of the day. Thank you all so much for joining in. If you want to ask any sort of questions before we say goodnight, please feel free to do so. I swear to God, I don't bite. Thank you, Eric. Thank you for joining me this for just the little bit that you were able to. I know you guys had, a show just before that. Ben, you can go to bed, my friend. You have been here since the beginning. That means a lot. Jay, thank you so much. So here's kind of what's going to happen over the course of the next couple weeks. Aljon, happy Easter to you. Thank you so much. So, over the course of the next week, you'll be seeing a lot of demos. So, if you haven't done so already, click subscribe, turn on the notifications tomorrow or tonight at midnight, if it please you. The Matthews Effects Architect V3 demo comes out this Saturday, the Whaler V2. And then all throughout next week, we'll have a different Matthews Effects demo every other day starting on Tuesday. So, guys, thank you all so much for joining in on this. This was a blast. Come back here next week, same bat time, same bat channel. Until then, my friends, I hope you all have a great weekend. Happy Easter to you all that celebrate Easter. And until next time, I wish you all great tone and happy stomping. Good night, my friends. Cheers.